Welcome back. Today we're going to be making a dessert that we typically make during Lent time. And this dessert is called Capirotada, which is Mexican bread pudding. Welcome. Step by step, I'll be explaining how to make Capirotada. So I'm going to go over the ingredients on what you're going to need, and I'll leave all the recipe down below. So you'll need day-o bread. I'm going to be using bolillo. You can use French bread too. You'll need cinnamon, butter, raw sugar, star of anise, cloves, plump sweet peppers, almonds, peanuts, walnuts coarsely cut. You'll need cheese. This particular cheese I'm using is panela and Cotija. You can substitute that for Monterey or any other type of cheese that you'd like. Then I'm going to use tortillas, which are corn tortillas, and they have to be cold. Step by step, I'll go ahead and explain how I make capirotada. So how did capirotada start altogether? The tradition says that it was some nuns that had day-o bread and they didn't know what to do with this bread that had hardened. So what you want to do is I've cut the bread and I prepared it from yesterday and I let it dry. After you dry it, you're going to go ahead and fry this bread. They said that they made this concoction because they had leftovers that they wanted to use and not go bad. This is a typical dessert that we use, this Mexican bread pudding that we use during the Lent season. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take a pan like this, casserole dish like this, and you're going to get your tortillas. And you'll place your tortillas inside just like this. And you want to make sure that you put the tortillas down because the bread won't burn then. And then put some butter on top of this and then put it aside. Then we're going to go ahead and take our bread that is already kind of dry and we're going to fry it. You can fry it in either oil, butter, or lard. I'm going to be opting for lard. So now what you want to do is, in this case I'm using lard, you want to make sure that you don't burn your lard. You want to keep it at a low temperature. You place your bread in and you're just going to lightly brown your bread in the lard. Now you can use butter or oil to do this, and you're going to go ahead and brown all of your bread. Okay, that's it. So now that we've finished browning our bread, and we went ahead and fried it and browned it up nicely where it's golden brown, we're going to go ahead and make up our syrup. And this syrup is going to use piloncillo, which is raw sugar. I'm going to put a whole one like this, and then I'm going to put a small one with that. Then I'm going to go ahead and put 3 cloves. Then I'm going to put 2 star of anise, and I'm going to put 3 sweet peppers inside, and I'm going to go ahead and put in 2 cinnamon sticks. And we're going to go ahead and bring this to a boil and create our syrup. So you have your ingredients in, and you want to just continue mixing it until the piloncillo, which is the raw sugar, is completely dissolved. As soon as it's completely dissolved, you want to bring it to a slight simmer, and then you're pretty much finished with your syrup. So once you've finished going ahead and made your syrup, you want to bring it over and then strain it, and taking all of the other ingredients out to making sure that you just have the syrup itself. And we're ready to move on to the next step. Okay, so now we've already cleared out our syrup. I put the tortillas down. Remember, put the butter in the pan and then put the tortillas on top. And I like putting a little bit of butter. I usually like using pure butter. I always use Kerry butter, which is an Irish butter that's really, really nice. So we have our bread already made, and we've fried our bread. Go ahead and we bring it into our syrup, and we moisten the bread nicely. Okay, and then we place it into our pan here, and we're just going to do this continuously throughout with all of our bread, soaking it really nicely. You want to make sure that it gets pretty wet, not completely where it's soft, because we'll go ahead and we'll put more on top. As I go ahead and place it all into the pan, I'm going to show you how I use my toppings. So now we've soaked all our bread here and we put it into our dish here. We're going to go ahead and put our toppings on. Now, as I said previously, I'm using two types of cheese. I'm using panela and cotija. Panela is actually a sweet cheese, and it's really, really nice, and it contrasts with the salty cheese is different. One might think it doesn't work with this particular dish. I have to tell you, you have to try it to see how it really does marry together the taste, and it's really, really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll put on my panela all over on top. Then I'm going to put on my cotija, and I'm going to mix these cheeses together all over on top. And I like lots of cheese on it, and so it's a good flavoring and mixture together. Then I'm going to go ahead and put my raisins. I'm not a big raisin fan, but capirotada without raisins doesn't seem to be capirotada. Really, really enjoy this. This dish actually evokes lots of memories of my mother and my grandmother. During the season of Lent, our dishes used to change dramatically here in the house because we had so many different dishes that we anticipated. Then I go ahead and get my peanuts. I purchased my peanuts raw, I baked them, and then I browned them in a pan. So I'll go ahead and put the peanuts over on top, like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and I have some almonds, and I'm going to go ahead and put slivered almonds on top here. Then I cut coarsely walnuts, and I put the walnuts on top here. And then I'm going to top it off with another layer of cheese on top. And then I put it to the oven for about 45 minutes. About 25 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So I've put all my toppings, and then I have my remnants of my syrup. I'm going to go ahead, and I like to make sure that my capirotada is nice and moist. And I'm going to place this beautiful syrup on top of the actual bread, cheese, and everything else. And I'm going to cover it up with some aluminum foil, put it into the oven for about 20 minutes. I'll check on it. If I need to leave it a little bit more, I can. This dessert can be served cold or hot, and it is really delicious. Okay, we're ready to do the test taste, and it's come out of the oven, and it looks really, really good. And so we're going to go ahead and taste to see how this capirotada came out. The flavor that this evokes is incredible. Go ahead and try this particular recipe of capirotada. We hope you enjoy it.